somebody broke into my house.
Did they kick the door in? How did he get the door open? Do you know?
I don't know.
One woman's harrowing run-in not too long ago, not with a burglar, but what was turned out to be a J.P. Morgan henchman sent to change her locks.
Not knowing who was actually at my door or how many people or if the person had a gun, a knife, a sex offender, I was just frightened to death. I would say that the banks are robbing American people in plain English.
That story just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to lenders trying to speed or fraudulently foreclose in this country. But why would the banks be so anxious to behave this way? And why would politicians in the Treasury Department allow them to do it? Take a look.
Most mortgages are backed by the government. In order for a bank to get that sort of backing, it must fit two criteria. One, borrowers must be verified by the banks and their agents as qualified. And two, the lenders must fill out paperwork accurately and make sure that when the home's title changes hands, so too does the documentation. But during the past 2 decades, a whole lot of the time, that never happened. Why is that? For the banks, the motive's simple: money. Banks profited by packaging and selling those toxic home loans, and then profited again by betting against those same securities. A bet, in essence, that a fraudulent loan they made wouldn't be paid back. But why would politicians allow this? The simple answer: to stay in office. Giving people houses makes them happier and makes local politicians more popular. At the same time, the financial services sector, the banks making all that money, were donating to the political campaigns. In 2008, the financial sector was the top donor to both Democratic and Republican candidates. So where are all these fraudulent loans now? Well, you own them at the Federal Reserve, Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac. In order to cover it up, the banks and politicians will do whatever it takes to prevent a legitimate foreclosure proceeding, one that would easily reveal the lack of qualifications and bad documentations in the loans the banks have been selling and giving to the government for years. And finally, the last and most important why. Why isn't our government dealing with it now? Perhaps because that would reveal systematic criminal and civil fraud at the highest levels of America's banks and political corridors.
We know who's fighting for the banks with all the money going to our politicians. Again, from the president on down the line, no one has given more money to all of our politicians in the financial services industry. Question is, who's fighting for everybody else?